Hi, friends. I am Lisette Serrano. I am your host here on Aquarius Truly. Welcome to, I believe we're on episode 6, which is insane. And this is actually the first episode that I am recording this year, which is amazing. I can't believe, honestly, that this happened and that I'm still being pretty consistent with it, considering I feel like a lot of times when I'm making series like this, especially if it's something on YouTube, it is very hard for me to actually commit to it. Sometimes I struggle a little bit with committing to TikTok, but I think, I don't know, over time, that's sort of been the platform that I've been the realist with and that I've been most consistent with. I'm making content this day, I'm scheduling to film this on the other day, yada yada yada. But yes, obviously there was no episode last week. I mentioned this on my Instagram. As y'all know, I live in LA. I live in West Hollywood. So I'm literally processing so much right now, so much of this. We're okay, obviously, you can see for those of my friends that are listening on Spotify, I am currently in my apartment in the same background that we always have. She might look a little weird because I'm filming during the day, but totally cool. But yeah, as y'all know, the Hollywood Hills had a fire as well, the Sunset Fire. Thankfully, it was contained relatively quickly, and I say relatively because it's just in comparison to the Palisades and the Eaton fire, it has been contained pretty quickly. Obviously, our firefighters are very understaffed, are very underpaid, don't have as many resources as other careers, as y'all know, and we'll see if I get into it this episode. I probably will. I really am sorry that this episode may be triggering. I was really contemplating even talking about this or spending a majority of the episode speaking about it, but I sort of treat this podcast at times, as y'all know, yes, it's my takes, but it's also just a little voice diary for me, a little journal. Oh my God, I don't usually get emotional on camera. I think I've cried one time in a video, and it was because I was already having a mental breakdown, and then I decided to record it because it was when I lost my job. It was that TikTok that I had made. Obviously these are just very different circumstances, and I've just never experienced anything like this. I'm from Jersey, so obviously we had Hurricane Sandy, and me and my family, we didn't have power in our home for about 2 weeks. We had to boil water because the water obviously wasn't working either because of the hurricane. So we had to boil our water, shower that way. Thankfully, our cousins live in Jackson Heights, so we were able to stay with them for a few days. So we weren't out of power and not doing anything about it. And y'all, mind you, Hurricane Sandy happened in the winter. I've mentioned this on the pod before. Winter in the Northeast, horrendous. So no heat, no water, no nothing. You're just freezing. You have your candles and you just kind of hope for the best. I was 12 when that happened. So that was obviously a lot, and that was I guess my first natural disaster. And thankfully we were fine, but obviously a lot of people's homes in South Jersey were destroyed, and it was just a lot overall. And it's so weird even talking about it being here, because here people obviously, I don't know if California gets hurricanes. I'm so sorry, y'all, I don't know, but I'm under the assumption that it's more common in the East Coast and just in other places as well. So sorry if you've been hearing The Wire. I'm adjusting my foot right now as we speak, and it's just a weird little jumble I've got going on. But anyway, now I adjusted it, so now we're good. But yeah, that was my last natural disaster. And then obviously I came here. I was under the assumption that California wildfires occurred all throughout California, including LA, which goes to show you how extremely out of touch I am with the wildfires, which makes me sad because they don't get as much coverage. Obviously, the same happens with the hurricanes that, like, well, the one big hurricane that I experienced. Obviously, we've had other hurricanes, but it's just been like really, really heavy rain. We would lose power for a little bit, but Hurricane Sandy obviously was like, we didn't have power for 2 fucking weeks, you know? So with all of this, it's just really made me think. I mean, I'm always thinking about the climate crisis. I think that's one of the largest things, in addition to like getting an illness. Those are like my 2 big anxiety, like the things that are constantly resurfacing. The big one is the climate crisis, because that one is really, really not in my control. And I have OCD, so obviously I'm like, bitch, I need to be in control or I'm like going to throw a fit. But yeah, with the climate crisis, I really am just like always talking about it with my friends. I have a friend who's a marine biologist. We've known each other since high school and everything. And we're always talking about it. Like, it's just like it's so concerning, and it concerns me that people don't really give a fuck and have never given a fuck. And the hopeful side of me wants to think that maybe after this, people will say, hey, fires happened in January. That's quite unusual. And that doesn't seem normal. Perhaps could it be something else? Something that scientists and professionals have literally been talking about for years? I'm hoping that this opens people's eyes. I doubt it though, because no matter what, the biggest tragedies in the world happen and y'all still don't get it. Like, I always say this on my page, and I'm like half joking around, like, you bitches don't read, like, get a fucking library card, blah, 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 and like all this stuff. And like, yes, I'm half joking, but I'm also kind of not. It's actually quite concerning that you guys don't read and get the majority of your information from TikTok. I had a friend who we're not really talking right now, but she would always tell me something crazy that she found out and make it seem like she got this from the news. No, she literally got it from TikTok. Like, I remember I had like my pink steering wheel, and I like made a TikTok with it, and she was like, be careful, like your car is going to get targeted because sex traffickers, like, they're targeting like feminine cars or some bullshit. And I'm like, bitch, you literally got that from either Instagram Reels or TikTok. I know you did not get that from like a liable source. You know what I mean? It's just like, I really want, in a perfect world, we all read. In a perfect world, we all do our research, have friends that are very well informed, and just like are communicative and don't believe like the very first thing that we see online. We would be in such a better spot if we didn't believe everything that we saw online. Like, there's so much misinformation. I'm gonna get into the Leo Skeppy video, which, you want to talk about stupid? Girl, he literally, you know, like 2 million people like that video, first and foremost. Tana Mojo commented. A couple of other influencers commented, saying things like, so true. Like, yes, this is true. For those of you that have not seen this video, Leo Skeppy, who is a TikToker who I used to follow for a while, and I really, really liked his content. I was listening to his podcast. Like, I really loved him, and I was like, oh my God, I hope he writes a book, blah, blah, blah. Then he started going into like fat phobic territory, talking about like styles and stuff, and like just like criticizing fat people as well. He got weird. I was like, I'm not about this, and I'm gonna unfollow you, because what is this about? And I was right to unfollow him because he posted this video saying that the looters are coming. Like, you guys have to be really careful. You are not in the clear if you experience this wildfire, if you survived. Like, this is just the beginning, and blah, 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 blah. I agree, it's just the beginning. But it's just the beginning of the climate crisis, bitch. I don't believe that this is the beginning of like everything getting torn apart, acting like we're in the goddamn purge. Like, hell no. This is obviously like, this is very clear. If it wasn't clear to y'all already, that the climate crisis is here, is happening, and our government is doing nothing about it. The Biden administration has made some efforts. They could do more. Unfortunately, there's mainly like Republicans in the Senate, House of Representatives, so it's just a lot more difficult to pass shit when things are like that. But they have made some efforts. Not enough, though, especially not at the state that we're in. Like, you know, it feels like COVID again. I'm in my home. I couldn't work for a week. I mean, obviously COVID was like a lot longer and is still ongoing, and apparently the cases have gotten worse. But we're wearing masks outside because the air quality is shit. That's the thing. The air quality in LA right now is fine. However, experts and scientists are saying, like, you know, don't let that fool you. There's still a lot of toxins, which makes sense. Like, there's still some smoke. And that's just mainly what it's been. It's just been like a weird energy. We're carrying on, but at the same time not. In the neighborhood that I'm in, obviously, like, other areas are more affected, sorry. And just everything that's happening, like, in the Palisades. Y'all, I work 20 minutes from the Palisades, like 20, 15 minutes, give or take, by car. So obviously I'm at work and the winds are crazy. I'm like, I don't know what this is all about. I don't really see it as much of a danger. And then my colleague is saying, I feel like we should be getting out. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, look outside. I look outside and there is a humongous, fiery, smoky, it looked like an explosion happened. And an explosion probably did happen because that tends to be the aftermath of a lot of these wildfires, and why they get worse is because of the explosions that occur. And it's just like, to be that close to that really does something to you. I was able to leave early because at the time there was also a fire that broke out on Sunset Boulevard, but that was another one that they were able to contain relatively quickly. But yeah, my boss let me go early. I still got paid like for the full day, and I was like, thank God, because I'm like, my life's important, but I'm like, with how everything's looking, it doesn't look like I'm working for the rest of the week, and I was right about that. So I was glad I was able to advocate for myself, get my full pay, because I'm like, girl, it's a natural disaster. Like, I feel like there's someone I can report you to if you don't want to pay me for a full day because I had to leave early because there's a fucking fire happening outside my job. Like, you know what I mean? So I left, and as I'm driving on the freeway, I can just see in my rearview mirror, like, just smoke and explosion, and so much smoke, y'all. Like, imagine you're driving and you're not used to this shit. I'm from Jersey. I'm driving and I just see smoke behind me, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I hope I make it. Like, I don't know if this is gonna spread. Like, we still had very little information at the time. We still kind of have very little information. So it was just like a very hectic day at work, and I'm still kind of processing that. And then obviously the Hollywood Hills fire happened the day after, and you could see that from my balcony. And I was like, we gotta go. So me and my roommate, we evacuated. It took us 2 hours to get to Irvine. We went to Irvine, which is like close to Anaheim. So it was just such a weird experience. I've never had to evacuate ever in my life, like, for anything. Like, I'm trying to think. My high school had a bomb threat, but not while I was there. So, and then, yeah, but I've never had to evacuate. Like, it was so eerie, so weird, so scary, having also to be there for the kids, not really wanting to share too much information with them about what's going on just because we didn't want to concern them. It's been a really weird week and change. Like, I didn't work that much, so I had to like be like, hey friends, like, please book a tarot reading with me. If you're listening and you want a tarot reading, feel free to DM me, Tarot and Astrology. I've been making content like a lot just to like sustain myself a little bit. But even then, my creator fund check won't come in like until the next month. So it's just been really difficult, to say the least. I just also feel really, really terrible for anyone that has lost their home, lost their pets. Like, I can't imagine just everything. I don't know. I can't imagine that happening. So it's just so sad that it's like happened to like literally like so many people. So many people have been displaced. So it's just been really scary to like witness that. And I think it's scary when anything like this happens. Obviously, like it's bad if it happens anywhere. But when it happens like in a major city, it's like 9/11, when that shit happened in New York, you know? It's like when tragedies happen in really big cities and it's like, oh my God, like that's right there. Like that's where you live and everything. Like just it being all over the world and getting a lot of coverage it's so strange. I've gotten like 100+ messages just asking like, are you okay? So it's just been really overwhelming. And I think one of the big things on my heart has been just a bit of regret about coming back so soon. I was so eager to get back and so excited. And I still, like, I'm glad I'm here now. But during the week, I just had so much regret. I was like, I should have fucking stayed. Like, yeah, it was cold and everything, but it's like my plane had crazy turbulence, like neurovirus is going around. Like, it was just like a lot of stuff. So I had so much regret being like, why the fuck? Why didn't I stay and then come like maybe this week? But like I had my job back there too. So I just had been holding on to that and just got into like a bad mindset about the whole thing. But now obviously like I'm feeling a little better. I can't really do anything about the fact that I didn't work that week. Like that's obviously not my fault. Like I just really have to remember that it's still a natural disaster happening, and that for anyone also experiencing this right now, you have all of the permission in the world to just be as patient with your mind and your body as you can. This obviously was just like a lot. And I think the worst part is this is not the end of it. Like, this is not the end of it. And that's just the reality of living in a climate crisis, is that this is going to happen to other parts of the world, other parts of the country. I mean, y'all saw the snow in Kentucky and Georgia. Like, all these things are happening. And it's like, I don't understand how these stupid ass people see this and don't think that there is a climate crisis going on. Like, you guys, oh my God, it's crazy. It literally drives me nuts. Like, I'm not even kidding y'all. Like, because it's just like, it's so obvious that the earth is not in a good spot right now. You can tell. Look at this shit. Like, look at it. It's January and shit's setting on fire. And you're telling me that that is normal, even though they're claiming these are some of the worst fires that they've ever seen in California. And there's no climate crisis. Like, shut up. Oh my God, people are so dumb. I have such little patience, guys, because I don't know, I'm someone who I take the time and effort to learn about things and like to just get more knowledge on things that I don't know about. I've always been like that. I'm like, I'm always going to find out like more information about a topic even when it doesn't intrigue me, just to know, like, I'm like, people don't want to learn anymore. They don't really want to grow anymore. They kind of want to just stay the same and like be the same. And it's like, you should want to learn about the world that you are in, the world that you were placed in, not by your own choice, mind you. Like, wouldn't you want to know the ways of the world? I don't understand just like being here and being bliss and not having a care in the world. To me, it just screams a lack of empathy and saying you don't care that much. Like, you don't mind being bliss. And what it comes down to, if you boil it down, OCD brain, you ask a question and another question and a question, you're eventually going to come to the conclusion that you don't have as much empathy as you think you do if you don't really have a desire to learn new things. You can care, but you don't care that much. And maybe you'll find peace with that. Me personally, I feel like sometimes I care too much. Just when you look around at like a lot of the people in this world and you're like, wow, you're just walking around not knowing a damn thing, feeling great. I can't do that personally. I need to like learn and like be knowledgeable and like just read and research over and over again. It just makes me so sad that like people don't really care about that. They really just only care about reading one highlight. When highlight? No. Oh my gosh. Headline, putting it in their highlights and just like making a repost and stuff, acting like they care about the problems in the world. And it's like, girl, did you read the article that you reposted? Did you read the whole post that you reposted? Like, and a lot of the times the answer is no, because it's like, I'm telling you guys, people don't care as much as they say that they do or as much as they claim to. And when you make peace with that and understand that, it gets better. Obviously, I still do get frustrated at people not wanting to like know things, but it's the world we live in. I can't control other people and what they do. And you just have to try your best and learn and grow on your own. Surround yourself with people that want to put in the work and that want to grow as well. And that's where you will eventually find peace. And just be there for your community. That's why that video with Leo really pissed me off, because it's just like this assumption that we have no community values, that we don't value each other, that we don't value humanity. I don't subscribe to that. Like, I think TikTok and other apps have really rotted our brains. Maybe we don't need TikTok, honestly, because some of y'all have serious brain rot. It's my career and everything, but it's like, I cannot with people not knowing shit and not having nuance. It's so frustrating. You can't say shit online. Look, and my account is proof that you can't say shit online. Just look at my post, read the comments, and you tell me that these people can handle nuance. Like, I'm always someone who like, I just yap and like, I'll say like these really big statements and stuff, and people want to fight with me acting like I'm against them. And it's like, no, bitch, I have nuance and you don't. You don't realize that two things can be true at once. And that's the problem that we have today, that you are not allowed to be sad about more than one thing at a time, which has really, really pissed me off, especially these days with the wildfires. Like, I mean, y'all have seen it like all over the internet being like, well, over here, this is happening and this and that and the third. And it's like, the person who said that probably just figured out that that thing is happening anyway. October 2023. I know some of y'all did not know about this literally like years before. Just saying. Like, I'm just being so real. And you want to come for someone like me or like other people, assuming that we've never been to a protest, assuming that we've never done any activist work, that we've never done any organizing in LA. Be so for real. In a major city in the US, you don't think that these people have protested? Girl, you're bugging. Like, it is so ridiculous to me. That's why those comments really piss me off, because it's like, you don't care about that issue either. You don't. You actually just learned about it and then thought you were doing something for like the 3 months that you didn't buy Starbucks, and then went about your day and were fine. I'm just saying, guys, like, I'm being so real in this episode because it's just like, I'm so over people not understanding things and just, you know, I'm always open to people learning. I want people to learn. Let's say these people that I'm talking about that have never read a book in their life, that don't know nuance and everything. If they tell me one day, like, hey, I want to grow, I want to change, I want to get better, I want to do this, I am all here for that. I don't think you are the worst thing that you've done. I don't think you are every single statement that you say. I don't believe that. Because of nuance, bitch. Like, two things can be true. You can also just think something one day and then like switch up. I'm an Aquarius. I do that literally all the time. But it's just like, if people want to change and grow, like, I will obviously always give them the space to do that. I'm even open to being a teacher to some. I know not everyone is, and that's fine, and I completely respect that. But me, I'm like, any work that I can do, any way that like I can help educate people and inform people and just like fact check things, like, I am all open for doing that for people. Like, I am so for it because it makes us better societally. It makes us better as humans to learn about each other and to learn about many different things in the world, about different countries, about history, about science. Like, these things are all so valuable, and they're the most useful right now when tragedies are occurring. This is not the time to just be bliss and to not give a fuck. Obviously, your rest is important, and do that and cherish that. But let's say you're witnessing this from afar. This is the time to learn. Like, this is the time to read and figure out what the hell is going on. It's the time to unlearn certain things as well. Because that was another narrative that was going around, was that, oh, like the Hollywood Hills burned because of this, that, and the third. And like crazy conspiracy theories being like, oh yeah, this burned because of all the celebrities and like the blood-sucking demons and blah, blah, blah. And like all that dumb shit. And it's like, you're literally talking about real people losing their homes, and you're using this as an opportunity to create a conspiracy theory that is not based in fact at all. Bitch. This is not your science class. This is not the time to create a hypothesis. These are real people, okay? Like, you sound nuts when people say shit like that. I'm like, you literally sound nuts. Like, do not hear yourself. Imagine, like, you just lost your home and someone's like, well, you know, it's because of those celebrities. Like, it's because of that karma. What an odd thing to say. What an odd thing to say. Like, for real. It is... Ugh. Those things are so tone deaf. Like, conspiracy theories during tragedy are so tone deaf. I don't get it. I want us to like stop doing that. Stop it with the QAnon and all that. Just please, like, please. We are better. We are better as a people. I know we're better. I know we can do better. Like, oh my God. I'm telling you, everybody has brain rot. Like, truly, it's a disease. TikTok is a disease. Conspiracy theories are a disease. YouTube Shorts is a rabbit hole of a disease. Like, it's so concerning. We don't know how to be people anymore, how to talk to people, how to think critically. Like, we just lack those things so much now. And it's quite sad, actually. But I'm hoping that we learn. I always have hope. Always. I always assume that even in the trenches, shit is gonna work out. Like, it's probably the delusional in me. And it's like, don't get me wrong. I want you guys to be delusional. Bliss does not equal delusion. That's not what I'm saying at all. So let's not misconstrue that. Be delusional towards your dreams. Give yourself the ability to dream, to have a vivid imagination, and to heal your inner child. But don't get lost in the sauce of not knowing shit and opening yourself and closing yourself off, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, invite yourself to learn things. Life is literally... your education is like the basis of everything. And I'm not even just talking about like in a logistical sense. Like, I just mean continuing to educate yourself past school. Like, it's a practice. It's like riding a bike. Like, you have to read. You got to know things. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a teacher. Like, but guys, I'm sorry that this episode was like a little bit on the shorter side. I mean, it's still like a half hour, but it was already just really hard for me to like turn on my camera and like connect everything and just do it. But I did it for y'all. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I know we got a little riled up, but getting riled up means you care about it and that you care about something. And I never see that as a bad thing. So you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lisette Serrano. TikTok is still here. Another way y'all have been misinformed, thinking that shit's gonna go away like tomorrow. I'm like, guys, let's read a little bit. Let's not just, I'm telling you, it's not just the headlines. You have to read the actual article. But yeah, you guys can follow me there. Subscribe to my YouTube, Lisette Serrano. Stream my music, Lisette Serrano. Everything's just Lisette Serrano. So I love y'all, and continue to stay safe. Continue to take care of each other. Continue to be there for your community, your loved ones, anyone, and just never hesitate to give your friends and family a hug when you feel like it. Okay? So I love y'all, and continue to stay safe. I love y'all.